Good morning, crafty friends. Welcome to my craft room. My name is Dara Walter of Pickled Peppers Creative Cafe at pickledpepperscreative.com. Today is Saturday, December 21st, 2024, and I am in my craft room today to share a cute and fun giftable project with you. Now, this month I have been sharing with you last minute gift ideas that you can use your own stash to recreate. And today we're doing the same. So welcome, come on into my craft room. I am super excited to have you here. Thank you for being here this morning. The difference between today and other Coffee and Create Saturday mornings is that today's video is pre-recorded. So there won't be any live interaction or engagement. However, I still love to engage with you. I love to read your comments, and I'll definitely respond to them. So go ahead and comment away. Hit the like button if you love what we're sharing today, or the heart. And if you're watching on either Facebook or Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to come back and revisit the video in the event that you would like to recreate what we're making. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you would hit the like button, so give me a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button. That would be really helpful. All right. Well, thank you again so much for being here. I am super excited that you're here. Can you guys believe we're on the last stretch before Christmas? So we just have a few days to go. It's unbelievable. I think the time has gone by quite quickly. But anyways, I'm excited about that too. But let's go ahead and get to what we're creating today. Let's get to it. We will talk really quickly about the products that we're going to be using, and then we'll get right into our cute project. It's a little treat holder that we're going to put, try a few things in it, candy, hot cocoa, and that kind of thing. So, all right. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be using today. So as you can see in front of me, I do have some die cuts that I've made, and I have some designer series paper and cardstock. So the cardstock is real red. The other green is garden green. And then I've gone ahead and made some die cuts off camera. I have basic white, and so we just need the basic white and the garden green. The extra basic white is for insurance, just in case I make a boo-boo and I need that extra piece. Usually this extra piece, I don't know what it is. It's like magic. I have it cut and prepared, and then I don't need it. But you can bet your bottom dollar if I didn't make that extra piece, something would go wrong. Okay, and then the stamp set that we're going to be using, actually I have two today. So we're going to be using the Golden Greenery. So the Golden Greenery stamp set, it actually comes with dies. I didn't bring those forward, but there are coordinating dies. But this has been a really popular stamp set. And of course we need a sentiment. So I grabbed the Peaceful Season, and we're going to grab a sentiment from this stamp set. So not a lot of stamping, but some cute and fun stamping we're going to do today. And then the dies that we're using come from the Something Fancy die set. And I used this shape here. So it's, I don't know, kind of like a banner maybe, and I use the two largest. So I use the larger for the garden green, and then the center or the middle one for the basic white. And this is all that comes in that. It's kind of cool. There are some tags here. So cool little die set. So we're going to be using that. And then in terms of designer series paper, we're going to be using the Take-A-Bow 12 by 12, I'm sorry, 6 by 6 designer series paper pack. And so there are reds and greens. This is very traditional Christmas. I'll just kind of fan through so you can get an idea of what the patterns are. I like those snowflakes or those kissies. I don't know, snow stars. Who knows? I like them. And the pattern that we're using is here. So it's like a peppermint or a candy stripe, barber pole, all of those things. And then here's the reverse side. We'll take a quick flip through. So really very traditional reds and greens and whites. That's what we're going to be using today. And again, this is the pattern that we're using from that pack of paper. And then in terms of inks, I have brought along the black memento. You know that black memento is my favorite black, and I use it a lot. And then we have granny apple green, we have garden green, and we have real red. I think we're actually going to use all of them. And I believe these are the colors that we're seeing also in the designer series paper. All right, so let's get started creating. I am going to need my, excuse me, boy, something grabbed me in my throat. I'm going to be using the paper trimmer just a little bit. We need to do just a little cutting and scoring. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's bring in the Stampin' Trimmer. If you guys know me, you know I tell you that this is my most utilized piece of equipment in my craft room, and it's true. It is true. I use it quite a bit. Oh, I've also pulled aside the red and white baker's twine. I think we're going to use a little bit of that. In fact, I know we are. All right, so we have our real red cardstock, which is 8.5 by 11. We're going to cut it at 4 1/4 on the long side. So we have the short, the 8.5 inch side towards the top of our trimmer. And we're going to cut it in two to 4 1/4. So we'll end up with 2 pieces of cardstock that are 4 1/4 by 11. We are going to need both of them. So we'll take one and put it aside for now. And then this one, we're going to turn the long side or the 11-inch side up, and we're going to cut it off at 4 1/4. So I'm going to need to extend the arm here. And we'll go all the way down to 4 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 1/4 is right in the crease there of that foldable arm. And then we'll cut this off. This piece we can put aside. We'll save it for another project and another day. So let's get it right out of the way. And while we have this piece on, we're going to do a little bit of scoring. So we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch on each side. I am going to use the numbers to the right of the groove. There's like 1.5 inches there that you can utilize. So I'm going to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch. So we'll use our score. Our Stampin' Trimmer, did you see that it cuts and scores? I love it. I love it. And it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $25, I think. Then we'll move it up to 1 inch. So we have our 2 score lines. Can you see them? We're just going to turn this around and repeat it. So we'll go here at 1/2 inch. And then we'll scoot up to the 1 inch mark. And now we're going to turn it 1/4 turn so that we have the short side to the top of the trimmer. And we're going to make 2 score marks, one at 3/4 of an inch and one at 1 1/4 inch. So here's the 3/4 of an inch. We'll give that a good score. And then 1 1/4. So we'll slide this over to the 1 1/4. And we'll give it a final score. So this is what we should have going now. Can you see that? Let's see if I can give us a little more light here. All right, so let's set this aside for a moment, and then we're going to bring in that 4 1/4 by 11. And on the 11-inch side, or the long side, we're going to make 4 score marks. One at 1/2 inch, one at 1.5 inches, one at 2.5, and then the final one at 6 3/4. So I'm going to slide this way over because we need that first score to be 1/2 inch. So we'll put this at the 1/2 inch mark. I will tell you, it's much nicer when you do the shorter scores or cuts to use the opposite side of the trimmer, but this time we're going to go to the left of the cutting groove, and we'll score at 1/2 inch, and our second score is at 1.5 inches, and then our third score is 2.5, and then our final score is 6 3/4 of an inch. So we'll slide it right down to 6 3/4. Okay, I think we're done with the Stampin' Trimmer, but I'm going to keep it close because I don't trust that I got everything, or that we may have to repeat something. Let's keep our fingers crossed. All right. So the next thing we need is a bone folder, and we're going to need small paper snips or scissors. And we're going to do some folding and burnishing and adhering. I'm also going to be using Stampin' Seal Plus. You'll need a strong adhesive. So Seal Plus is my go-to because it's a tape runner, but it's really strong. Or you could use Tear & Tape, or you could use the multi liquid glue. We're going to be using that as well. All right, so let's start with the largest piece first. So let me show you here. Can you see the score marks that we have here? And then the last one is kind of in the middle. So there's a big area on both sides of it. So we're going to start by folding that largest area down inward. And then we're going to flip it around, and we'll do like an accordion fold. So I'm going to open this again for a second. So that first score line, we're going to bring towards us. So we're just going to do like an accordion fold. We'll bring it towards us. We'll give it a nice burnish with our bone folder. The very next one, we'll fold it outward. And once again, we'll give a nice burnish with our bone folder. And then finally, the skinniest section at the bottom, we'll fold it towards us again. So we have an accordion fold there. Give it a nice burnish. So now on this skinny little bottom ledge that we created, I am going to run my Seal Plus all the way down the entire length of that small piece. Did you see that? And then I'm going to fold over that larger piece, and I'm just making sure that we get it lined up with the edges lined together. And I'm using my fingers. You can use our bone folder to make sure we have a nice adhesion. And I'm actually going to pull this up a little bit. Let's see if we can readjust that fold just a little bit. All right, can you see what we've created? So we have an easel here. Fun, right? All right, so we'll set this aside for a moment, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab our other piece of real red. And we'll go ahead and fold and burnish on all of the score lines. It will just help see better because we have to cut away a little bit. So we're folding and burnishing on all of the score lines. And we'll do the last side here. By the way, did you guys bring your favorite beverage along with you today? I'm never without the big cup. And it is filled with my favorite. Kind of weird this morning. It's French vanilla with a splash of hazelnut. Okay, so now that we've burnished, I think maybe you can see the score lines a bit better now. You see that? So we are going to take away, let me mark this for you. Let's grab a pen here. So we are going to take away and then on this side, okay, can you see where I've marked? We're going to take away these two little boxes on both sides, and then we're going to take away the outer box on the next score up. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start by cutting away the two bottom sections, both of those little boxes. We don't need them. So we're going to get that right out of there. And then the outer box here, we don't need that either. So we're going to snip that right out. Oops, let's give it a little more of a snip here. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, on this side, right? So we're going to take away both of those little bottom boxes. We'll get them right out of there. And then we'll take the next one on the outer edge only. We'll get rid of that box. Whoops, a little more. Huh, that one's in there pretty tight. I'm trying to be careful not to go over the line. There we go. All right, so this is what we have left. We'll have the little jagged or like it looks like stairs. We're walking up the stairs. So the final thing we're going to do is right on this little stair step part, we're going to cut from here to the score line. What it's making is a little tab. So this is going to make a pocket, and we are creating a little tab for our pocket. Does that make sense? We're going to do it on the other side too. And this is the most difficult part about what we're doing today, I think. So I'll fold them forward. Can you see how we made the little tabs? All right, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of assembly. That was the hardest part of today's project. All right, so I'm going to apply some Seal Plus to both of the little tabs that we just created. You could use liquid glue for this too, but because it's such a small area, I'm electing to use my adhesive of choice, which is the Seal Plus. Okay, so this is what we have. So both of these little tabs that we've created, we're going to fold them back, and then I'm going to take the side and fold it in. Can you see that? There's our little tab. We're going to line up the two edges here and stick it right down to our little tab. Can you see what we're doing? There we go. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to fold that tab. We're going to fold the side in. Line up the two edges here and stick it down. And then I'm just going to take my bone folder and give it a nice press to make sure that we have the adhesive stuck down well. So this is what we have remaining. This is what we're going to do with the two larger sides. So we're boxing them in. Can you see that? We're boxing them in. And then the bottom flap that we have remaining, we're going to glue it or stick it down to the two larger tabs. And it's just going to make like a pocket. Can you see that? So in order to achieve that, I am only going to apply adhesive here and here on the bottom flap. So let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and use my Seal Plus. I can get it moving. There we go. And I'm going to do it again on this side. Kind of hold it down. That Seal Plus grabs pretty good. There we go. So can you see where I've adhered it? And I'm just going to fold it. I'm going to fold it. Once again, I want to make sure that this edge lines up with this edge. I'm going to give it a little bit of a press when I'm confident with it. And I'm doing the same thing on the other side. Just lining the two edges together. And voila. Let's take our bone folder, press down so we make sure that the glue is in there good. And we've created a little box. So our box is missing the back side, but we're actually going to adhere a pocket to the easel. And so the open edge will go towards the top. We're just going to line it up right here at the bottom. We're going to line it up and line up the sides, and then we've created an easel with a pocket. So this is where I'm going to bring in the multi-purpose liquid glue because it's going to allow me a little bit of time to readjust this and line it up at the bottom where I need it to be. So I'm just going to add adhesive. Well, that's quite a bit more than I wanted to give. I'm going to add the adhesive to the two sides here and then along the bottom. Keep your fingers crossed. I think I might have gotten more adhesive there than I wanted to. And then here's the bottom of our easel. So can you see this? So I am going to stick the pocket with the opening against the easel right at the bottom. Whoops. Boy, I'm glad I hadn't put it down yet. I'm going to line it up on the bottom and line both sides up. And I'm just going to press down. And then we're going to need to hold on to it. We'll hold on to it for a couple of seconds to make sure that the adhesive grabs. And then I'm going to take my bone folder. Let's collapse the easel. We're going to collapse the easel all the way down. And then I'm just going to take my bone folder and run it along the seam to make sure it grabs good. And I'm holding it while I am doing so because I'm giving the adhesive a moment to set. And actually, I got a little that scooched out there on the side. I was worried about it, but it doesn't matter. We're going to cover it up anyway, so we won't see it. I just didn't want to make a big mess, which sometimes I can do. All right. So this is what we have. And you see our little pocket that we've created. All right, so we'll put this aside for a moment. We got a little bit of glue on my desktop. It's okay. It's glass, so it washes. And we'll start assembling, and we'll do a little bit of stamping, and then we'll bring our base, the base, back in. Okay. Let's go ahead with the liquid adhesive glue. So that 4x4 piece of garden green, we're going to adhere the 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 to it. So we're creating a layered mat. I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue. I have a bigger target here, so I have a little more confidence in using it on the larger piece. And then just scribble a little bit on the inside. And then let's glue this right down. There we go. Scooch it up a little if we have time. I tell you, you have a couple of seconds, but you don't have a great amount of time to readjust with that liquid glue. Okay, let's set this aside. And then we're going to bring in the 4 by 2 3/4 garden green cardstock. We're going to layer it with our 3 3/4 by 2 1/2 cardstock. Okay, so go ahead and give a very cautiously generous amount if you're using the liquid adhesive. Otherwise, you're using the adhesive of your choice. I do have another favorite liquid adhesive as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and line this up and glue it right down. I think that's good enough. Yay, I think I did good. I don't feel like I have any on my hands. All right, so we have those two pieces together. Let's do a little bit of stamping. Well, actually, let's go ahead and let's take care of these. Let's go ahead and take care of them. So the larger piece is going to go in the inside, and we're just going to leave a bit of an even border around the 3 visible sides, right? And then the smaller goes on the outside front. So the only caution that I have for you at this point is if you're using a directional paper, and direction matters. In my case, direction matters because I want the stripes to go in the same direction. So I want the pattern to move in the same direction. You're just going to want to make sure that you pay attention to that before you start to adhere. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of liquid adhesive to this layer. I'm going to try to keep my lucky streak going with my adhesive. There we go. And we'll pop this right down to the front side of our holder. Make sure we have the borders kind of even. Once again, you don't have a whole lot of time before it starts setting. I'm just going to flip it over and run my bone folder. It's going to kind of run the bone folder across that flat outer edge just to make sure I have good adhesion. Of course, you can do it with your fingers. In fact, if you squeeze it down with your fingers, if you're using the liquid adhesive, if your hands are warm, I feel like it kind of helps it stick into place. Same thing with your Seal or Seal Plus. All right, and then I'm just going to make sure I have these patterns going in the same direction. Let's flip it over. And I'm going to be careful to keep it in the orientation that I need it to be when I flip it back over. There we go. And then we're going to flip this back over and we're going to slide it inside. So I'm going to go down almost to where I need to be. And then I'll do a little bit of adjusting. Oh gosh, I did get it. See where I got it, where I didn't want it to be. Just going to take my nail and lift that right off. Usually I'll use my bone folder for that. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and just make sure that I have a nice good adhesion. All right, I'll open that easel back up, and this is what we have. Cute, right? It's a little holder. So many things that we can put inside of there, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Just going to grab a diaper wipe and clean my finger of that excess glue. Okay, let's get this zipped back up. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of stamping. I am done with the liquid glue. Whew, that liquid glue stresses me out, but I do love it. I do love it. All right, so let's bring in some stamps and inks. So we're going to, let's get some scratch paper. All right. So we're going to stamp on the basic white die cut, and I'm going to use, if you look at the stamp set, we didn't talk about it at length, but there's a pine sprig. You have the heavier image here, which is the background, and then we have the detail with the thinner. And the same is going to be true for all of them. So we have like, it's either a bell or a tassel. I don't see any fringes, so I better say that it's like an old time bell. And we have a larger one. And then we have a couple of other seasonal plants. We're going to use this one because I love it. I love it. Let's bring in some blocks. And we'll just put both of these on right now. Just add them to my block. There we go. And then let's bring in, so the lighter color is going to go on the thickest. It's the background. So for this one, we're going to use Granny Apple Green. And maybe before we do that, let's go ahead and put our sentiment down. Let's talk about our sentiment. That way I'm going to make sure that I don't stamp over the sentiment, although I don't think it would be a problem with this particular stamp set or the images that we're using. But just for the sake of knowing where I want things. So we have all of these sentiments to choose from. I actually, and they're made to coordinate. They're made to coordinate, like Christmas is in the air. So some of them are made to coordinate, but I am going to grab that cheer all year because I want to make sure that our little gift can be used beyond Christmas once we take the goodies out of it. So I'm going to grab that cheer all year. Just kind of let it naturally fall into place. And then I'll tap it down. And I'm going to stamp this with the black memento. And I'm going to put it right along the bottom of our basic white die cut mat. And when we're done with stamping out, I'll give you a close-up so you can see how everything came together. All right, so let's go ahead and stamp this right down. No rocking, just a bit of a firm push. Not too firm though, it can get squishy. The photopolymer stamps can get really squishy. Actually, the red rubber too, if you press really hard. Okay, we're done with the black memento. So again, the thicker of the two is the background. We're going to stamp that in the lighter color and then the detail in the darker color. So we're going to start with the Granny Apple Green. And we're just going to give our background a nice inking. We'll tap, tap, tap. And then I want as much, oh, whoa, that was a close call. I want as much of this on the die cut as I can get. So I'm going to kind of go the long way with it, and you'll see what I mean when I give you a close-up. But let's give it a nice press. Boy, I dropped that stamp. That could have been all bad. I could have needed that extra die cut that I made. All right, let's cover this up. And then we're going to bring in the garden green and we'll do the detail. So same thing, I'm just going to tap, 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 tap on my ink pad. And then I'm going to line this up and stamp right on top of the base image. I'll give it a nice press. There we go. You guys, this stamp set is so very beautiful. I love it. I can't get enough of it. It is golden greenery. If you have a chance, I'll make sure to put some links in the description above. You can pop over to my online store and take a look at it. It's very, very beautiful. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is grab the holly berries. There are two of them. It works in the same way. It's two-step stamping. That's what that's called. So there's a solid, we'll grab the real red. There's a solid for the background, and then there's the detail. So we're going to ink the solid up with the real red. And then we're going to do some second generation stamping. What that means is before I stamp this on the die cut, I'm going to stamp on my scratch paper, and then I'll go ahead and stamp on the die cut. So it's going to give me a lighter version of the color that I'm using. It's a great way. Stamping off is what you'll hear some people call it as well. It is a great way to stretch the use of your stamp pads in terms of color. So if you're limited on colors that you have, but you need to do shading, then that's a good technique to use. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to line these up. It looks like they go this way. I'm going to line them up, and this time I'm going to use the full color and stamp right down. Oh, you guys, this is so lovely. I am totally in love with the stamp set. All right, pretty sure I have a little ink on my hands, on my fingers. Oh, not much, but some. All right, so this is what we ended up with. Is that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? So gorgeous. Look at the detail. Very nice. Okay, so then we can get rid of our scratch paper here. It's sticky on the other side. Okay, we're gonna adhere these two pieces together. So I'm just gonna bring in my Seal Plus, add a little bit to the back, and we're gonna glue this right down. And then we're going to add it to the front of our treat holder. We're going to use dimensionals. We are using dimensionals. For those of you who have been hanging out with me in my craft room for a while, you know that there is almost a 0% chance that something will not have, any project will not have dimensionals. So there's a almost 100% chance that I'm going to use them. And we're just going to pop them here on the back of our stamped die cut layers, I should say. There's more than one. And then we'll pull the adhesive backing off. We're just going to pop it right down. Let's see, trash under the desk. All right, we're just going to pop this right down front and center on the pocket that we created. Let's see. All right, just want to make sure my upside down center looks right to you. Okay, isn't this cute? So really, this is our project. So now we have to fill our pocket. Let me tell you, so we're gonna fill it with treats. I have here, let's grab this, a pack of hot cocoa, and I've added a red and green Andes Mint. And we're gonna slide this right down in the pocket because it's matchy-matchy. I like matchy-matchy. And then what I've done is I've taken candy canes and the red and white, whoops, knocked that right over, didn't I? The red and white twine, I've tied them together into a bow. And we're gonna stick that right down. Oh, if I can get both ends in, there we go. Here we go. And if you have cello bags, I actually use cello bags. I think they're 6x9. I get them from Amazon. You could probably use a 5x7 and slide this right in and tie it up in the, seal it in the cello bag. And your last minute gift idea or stocking stuffer is complete. Isn't that cute? So it's an easel. It can sit up. You know what? You could do this actually if you're having a big Christmas dinner. You could make place settings. It's one of my favorite things to do. In fact, it is definitely what I'm doing for Christmas. So these are going to be on my Christmas dinner table. A little after dinner snack. But then when we're done with this, the reason that I wanted to keep the sentiment kind of not specific to a holiday, maybe just a season, but this is cheer all year. You could take, let's see, let's grab a notepad. So then I can use this well after. I'll grab a notepad. I could make a matching pen or just have a regular pen and stick it there. I could use sticky notes inside of there. Let's see if I have a sticky notepad. I do. So we could store sticky notes in there. Oh, if we get the pen out of the way. And we can keep this on our desktop all year long. Isn't that fun? All right, so let's dress this back up with our goodies. There are other goodies you can put in there too that will fit in there. Let's see. I have, oh, these are peppermint spoons you can get from the Dollar Tree. So you could use that instead of candy canes. Let's tuck that right back in there. This makes a very cute gift. Let's see what else I have in my little, oh, you can use Hershey's chocolates. They will fit in there. I have a York peppermint patty. That would fit in there. Of course, if you're putting cocoa or something in there, if you noticed, I used mini glue dots to stick the mints right to the hot chocolate, and that way they are visible. Once you slide that packet in there, you can see the mints, so the recipient would be able to tell that there's something more there. What else do I have? I have Twix. Let's see. Well, the Twix will fit there. It's a little tight. We have Kit Kats. That will definitely fit in there. Oh, we have Ghirardellis. The Ghirardelli. You could use Ghirardelli and you could put a couple of tea packets in there. That would make a nice gift as well. And then I have some chocolates. Let's see. These are, they're Coper's chocolate espresso bean mint candies. Let's see if those will fit. No, I don't think that'll fit too comfortably. Well, I've given you lots of cool things that you could stuff in this and wrap it up and make it giftable, or sit them on your holiday table. And then when you're done, use it all year round like this. Okay, you guys, well, this is our project today. Again, let's talk about what we used. Here are all the little candies so that you can see what we used in our holder. Let's put this here so you can see it. We used 3 different color inks. So we used Real Red, we used Garden Green, we used Granny Apple Green, and then we used Black Memento. And then we used the stamp set Golden Greenery. That's how we made that very beautiful bow. Isn't it cute? I'm in love with it. I love it. And then we used Peaceful Season, and we nabbed that cheer all year. But there is peace and joy, joy and love to you. Let's see, you could use all the best, or even any of these. You could even use that Big Christmas if you had a large enough die cut, or even if you cut basic white, because you can do it without die cuts. If you don't have die cuts, you would just simply cut a rectangle with white cardstock and then back it with your color, your choice of cardstock. And then we used the red and white baker's twine. And finally, we used the Take a Bow 12 by, or I keep wanting to call it 12 by 12, 6 by 6 designer series paper. All right, you guys, that's what my share is for today. I just want to take a minute to thank you for hanging out in my craft room with me all year. Or if you are new to me this year, I'm appreciative. I am so thankful that you choose to hang out with me in my craft room. You guys are my gift, so thank you. I am wishing you the most wonderful and warm holiday season, and I hope good things come your way. And I can tell you some good things will be coming your way at the start of the year. I hope you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get working with some crafty business. But thank you guys so much for giving your time to me. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will see you soon. Bye-bye now.